The very first game of the 57th International Biel Chess Festival classical tournament of the triathlons is over, and a lot of decisive games were played here today. All of the games finished with a decisive result except of one, which was a very sharp draw. And we have selected one game in particular. We would like to show you the so-called game of the day, which was Vaishali's very impressive victory over the top-seeded player in the challengers section, Jonas Bull Biel. So here the opening was e4, e6, the French defense, which is becoming quite popular in the past years, also employed by Vaishali's brother Pragananda, who is playing in the Masters section. d4, d5, black is fighting for the center. Knight c3 is a very popular response by white, quickly aiming for space advantage. e5, knight e7, f4. As you can see, both players are carrying out their plans. White is getting the space advantage at the king side. Black is trying to undermine the center with c5 and knight c6. And here, after bishop e3, a6, it was Biel who made the first committal choice. Instead of the more common queen d2 and long castle idea, followed by h4, h5, he decided to play it positionally and played knight e2 instead. Now this idea is linked together with the idea to strengthen the center with c3. So that's why Vaishali decided to play aggressively. She played queen b6, hitting the pawn on b2. Queen c1 was the response. Bishop b7, c3, short castle, and g3. So White's idea was pretty simple: to play bishop g2, short castle, gain space advantage, and then in the long positional game, I'll play the opponent because Black has some issues with the Lasco bishop. That's why Vaishali was very dynamic. She played f6 immediately, and after bishop h3, c takes on d4. About at this moment, Biel started to be a bit uncomfortable because after bishop takes on e6 check, king h8, in many lines, the bishop on e6 is under attack with a potential knight e5 or knight e4, and the white king is always stuck in the center when the action is opening up. So he decided to keep things under control. He plays c takes on d4, f takes on e5. Vaishali continued to fire up the position, opening it up. D takes on e5 was a great response by the young Danish player. Bishop c5, bishop takes on c5, knight c5, threading with a fork on d3. Here Biel came up with a very good pawn sacrifice. The idea is after queen takes on b2, he wants to castle short, then position the knight on d4, and then claim a positional compensation for the missing pawn. The young Indian played knight b4, threading with a fork on c2 or a check on d3. Knight e4 was played by white. Check on d3, king f1, and here Vaishali accepted the pawn with queen takes on b2. Now here after king g2, white was having the compensation, but the more time Biel was spending on the position, he quite could not work it out where it is, because the black knights on d3 and c5, they're pretty strong, and the white king is feeling pretty exposed, and starting from here, the young Dane started to rank the wrong direction. So he played knight b3, which was a mistake. Here Vaishali played b6, which is an okay move, but apparently the immediate e5 was a bit stronger, with the idea that knight takes on c5 is impossible because of very cute check, knight takes on f4, and the queen on e3 is lost, and white suffers catastrophic material losses. Instead, Vaishali played b6, a move which made perfect sense because it wants to play bishop b7, d4, open up the long diagonal, and get to the white king. Here white played rook d1, which was apparently a miss. Instead, rook h to b1 was a better choice. The position still was very complex. Rook d1 was played by Biel. Here, knight b2. Apparently, this maneuver was missed by the top-seeded player in the challenger section. Vaishali rearranged the knight on c4. Here, white played rook c1, knight c4, queen c3, rook a7. A pretty normal move, getting the rook on c7. White continue with knight e4, queen d3. And around here, you're probably wondering where exactly lies white compensation for the missing pawn, because apparently black has the extra pawn and the compensation for it. Beautiful knights on e4 and c4. So here Vaishali played rook c7, applying even more pressure, and now Biel made a very critical mistake. So the position is really unpleasant, but there was no need to capitalize immediately. He could have played king g1, tried to bring the king more to the safety, maybe something else like queen e2, followed by rook c2, try to hold on and hope that the weakness on e6 will be enough to hold on in the game. Now here, he played bishop takes on e6, which was a tactically flawed move and probably based on either miscalculation or just simply sometimes hallucination. Now, what happened here after bishop e6, knight a6, this is probably what Biel thought is impossible, but now he has no defense against queen b2 check. Now, the point is rook c2 never works because there's always all kinds of forks on e3, either queen c2, knight e3, or knight e3 immediately. King g2 would just lose. After king g1, queen f2 check, knight e3. There are a couple of cute tricks. So this is a mate threat here. Takes, takes, rook takes on c7, queen f3, king g1. And during the broadcast, we are looking at here the possibilities that black might win the game. Knight f2 was looking like a really cute option. And here, white would have a fantastic resource. Rook takes on g7 and rook takes on h7, where apparently black cannot take on h7 due to fork on g5. Now, I'm sure that Vaishali would have found it out. All she needed to do in this position, if this would ever happen, instead of knight f2, just play rook e8, and after knight takes on g7, now knight f2 is winning the game because of the checkmate threat on h3. This didn't happen because Biel came up with another move, knight e2. The position, however, was unsalvageable, so black took on d2, knight takes on c7. Very cute move, knight f1. Now the idea here is that black is threatened with a mate. King f1 is impossible because of the mate queen f2 on the board, and rook c2, just knight e3 and collect extra material. So the game continued with king f3, knight takes on c2, white already is material down, the rook at a1 is under attack, and the game didn't really continue for long. Rook d1, knight e1 check, beautiful fork, take it, queen f2 check, just collect the rook on e1, and here the game continued a couple of moves. Vaishali found a way to deliver the mate on the board, knight e1 check, king h3, queen h5, and after king g2, knight e3, white suffers further material losses, and that's why here Biel had to stop the clock, giving Vaishali a very impressive victory. Now, after the first round, we have had changes in the overall rankings, obviously, because every victory gives every player 4 points, unlike in the Rapid, where every victory is awarded 2 points. In the Masters section, Lim Le, because of his impressive endgame technique against Vincent Keimer, he has taken the lead once again. He has won the tournament twice. Now, once again, he's leading the tournament. Ike Matriasian drew with Sam Shankland. This means that he is no longer the leading the tournament. He's behind the leader with half a point. Mishra was the surprise winner against Pragananda, also a pretty serious candidate for the Game of the Day title. He's right now in third place. Everybody else has less. In the meantime, in the Challengers tournament, Alexander Donchakov clearly is on fire. He won both Chess 96 and Rapid tournaments. Also scored an impressive victory today with the white color against Igor Semenenkov. Salem Saleh was able to outplay Marc-Andre Morizzi. He has 10 points. Is just 1 point behind the leader of the tournament. And also Vaishali is gearing up, showing that she is playing the highest chess here, and she is in the Challengers tournament for a very good reason. She is in the third place with 9 points and within the striking distance from the leaders. So the action is going to continue next day with round 2 of the classical tournament with more games starting 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Come see it live at 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time to follow the 57th International Biel Chess Festival live. See you tomorrow.